Dream big, think big, pray to God, and be ambitious.
I
How
didn't.
is everyone doing? How is um how is everyone doing? Do you want to say hello to the viewers? Yeah.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing? We're doing great. Thanks for asking.
Well, everybody new to this channel, thank you. Please hit the subscribe button, follow us, and like and comment on our videos. We welcome our guest today, none other than my very own girlfriend, all the way from North Carolina. We won't give them too much details. Miss Mariana Chonin.
Good job. Hello.
Nice. What's on your mind today?
What's on my mind today? You?
Uh, Evidently, it better be. Anyway, guys, I'm just here to talk to my girlfriend about, to share her experience, dating someone not from the US, and her mindset about uh the relationship not, being the regular
The
relationship,
one. Yeah.
so like, you can just share with people out there who are watching us now that you know me in details, now that you know a little bit more about Uganda.
Yeah.
And you can give the viewers your view and your perspective vis-a-vis what you thought before you met me and what you used to think before you met me.
Yeah. I will say that I had a very American view of basically any country in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that it was that everybody was poor,
Mm-hmm.
like eating barely anything, starving, like no medical care, anything like that, just because there's a lack of education. And with, have you heard of the white savior complex?
No.
Basically, lots of white people think that they can help everybody else just because they're white,
Mm.
and like the privilege is that we can help other people
Mm-hmm.
that are deemed like less fortunate than we are,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what is shown to most Americans
Mm. Ah,
instead of the reality.
mm-hmm. I have a question though.
What's up?
Yeah, you said you used to think that we Africans are poor and they are starving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not you, it's a lot of Americans' mindset.
It's what we're taught in school.
Oh, I was getting ready to ask, why is it so? So it's something they teach you all in school?
Yeah,
Is it
not,
what is shown in the media? Is it what's shown on
yes,
ads and
all of it. Um, because churches here,
Mhm.
especially in the South, the big thing is mission trips to go to places that are less fortunate, to help them, like feed them, build things. That's part of the white savior complex, that
Mhm.
we just think that we can help everybody just
Mhm.
because we're white, and anybody who's not white needs helping.
You know about mission trips. We
Mm-hmm.
have a very popular saying back home that the white people came to Africa with Bibles. They gave us the Bibles, but took our land. It's a very, very popular saying. So, not to say that I'm against mission trips, because when I was young, actually, I met a couple of Americans who came. I was about 10, 12, 15.
Mm-hmm.
They used to come and do mission trips in my city. Which were very, very nice people.
Yeah.
I remember whenever they used to leave to come back to America, they used to give us a lot of stuff, shoes, clothes, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
just because they didn't need them because they were coming back to America. They had more here.
Mhm.
And also to say, not to throw that about the mission trip laws. Yes, we
Right.
have. I believe there's poor people everywhere in the world. Yeah,
Yes.
so it's not just Africa.
Yeah.
Uh, as they make it seem worse over here. Yes, we have very, very poor people in Africa, but it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
And every part of the country, regardless of which country, there are people who need help in that country. Maybe
Yes.
it's just that the wrong way they portray it that Africa is doing miserable.
Yeah.
Mm.
And usually, like, what's taught in schools typically, at least in like, I grew up in a very southern part of the US. And so in schools, anytime we would learn about Africa,
Mm.
most of the time, the only thing we would learn about was the slave trade.
Mm.
That was usually the only thing, the only time we ever talked about Africa.
Mm.
And so it was never really celebrating the differences and the rich culture that so many of the countries in Africa have. It was more like, oh, this terrible thing happened,
Mm.
and we spend maybe a week on it and then move on to the next thing.
Mindset before coming to America is
Hmm.
I never used to think there are poor people in America because the image of America that is sold to the rest of the world is,
Yeah.
the Hollywood part, where everybody
Yep.
is flashy, everybody driving Lamborghinis,
Mhm.
everybody's rich, kids are, enjoying life at the beach or whatever.
Mhm.
But coming to America and then living in America now for over 6 years now, gives me a broader understanding that, like, there are worse places here. Now, I've seen places that
Yeah.
are worse than the city where I grew up, where I was born. I've
Yeah.
seen better places than any other place I've been to. So it's the difference may be is in America there's accessibility to the most essential needs, things that like people need like healthcare, education. There's accessibility to it.
But I will say that Americans, which we've talked about this before, Americans tend to be very selfish, and it's the system is set up not really to help you.
Hmm.
One thing about you and like where you come from in general, everybody is very willing to help when somebody like needs help.
Hmm.
In America, typically people like when we see somebody that's homeless on the street and we walk past them, we avoid eye contact with them.
Yeah, what she was saying about helping out is let me break it down for from guys from Uganda. So in Uganda, we have a system where in a family, whoever is more successful reaches out and helps everybody in the family, whether uncle and or nephew or whatever the case may be, which is not very common in America. In America, once I feel like once you turn 18, you're on your own. It feels more like that,
Unless you have a
you know?
very good
Yeah,
relationship with your family,
yeah,
usually people, not that they kick you out, but they want you to start your own life.
right. So it's kind of like it was a big shock to me to see how families are here. Families are not very close. Um, of course, this is a general assumption. So families are not as close as our families are back home in Uganda.
Mhm.
Like where if, for example, the other day I was on the phone, my mom telling me I need to help out my aunt kids with something. So that's not something that can really that happens in America. Like where you get to like
Yeah.
receive a call to help your aunt's kids or your uncle's kid, like a far relative to
Yeah.
help out with support. But that's basically what she was saying. But what we are blessed with as Africans or as Ugandans is that we reach out and our families are united and we stay together and we help each other. I think the American perspective of it is that once you've grown, you're 18, that encourages you to work for the things that you want. the things that you want in life. It also makes you a better person, not to just always wait for handouts. I guess that's the positive of it.
But in America, it's also kind of looked down upon if you need assistance.
Hmm.
And like a lot of people tend to look down upon people that are receiving assistance from the government because it makes it seem, or people think that, oh, like they can't survive, they're just sucking money from the government. But that, while some people may be abusing the system, for a lot of people, like that is what it's there for.
Yeah, interesting.
It's there for when people need assistance. It's not supposed to be a long-term thing. It's just supposed to be like kind of helping you get through the season that you're in. So you don't have to stay on it forever. Like I said, of course, some people abuse it and will stay on it forever.
Are you talking about like unemployment refunds?
No, like food stamps, government housing.
Yeah, we don't do that in Uganda. I don't know what that is. We
Yeah.
don't have things like that in Uganda. Like here in America, if you lost your job and you're a citizen, there are some paperwork you can do, and the government pays you some type of money to keep you running.
Now, government housing is usually for people that have very low incomes.
Hmm.
You have to apply for it. I don't know all of the legalities of it, but I do know that you have to apply for it. You have to make under a certain amount, and then there's a long wait list to be able to get in these communities. It's super low rent. They're not always in the best areas. They aren't going to have state of the art luxury amenities. It is just shelter. And a lot of Americans look down on others who are
Who
utilizing those resources because it makes I I don't know. I personally never have really understood why it's looked down upon because it was placed there for a reason to help people, but some people,
look down on the people who use it?
yeah.
If you ask me, my mindset, I think it's beautiful. I wish my country or African countries had that option, because a lot of people from America who are poor or who are not doing well, in my view and the life I've lived, I don't see it that way. I feel like they are blessed.
Hmm.
A lot of people here in America that grew up in what they would call hoods or government housing. I wish I had that opportunity. I wish I had that life, because like I shared with you some personal stories that
Hmm.
at the age of 15, I had a fallout with my family, basically my stepdad, and I had to find like my own place. I was homeless for a few months, and then I had to find my own apartment, which I will show you when we go to Uganda, which was not very good. It was like, imagine my apartment, my first apartment was $15 a month. Now, I want you to put that into condition wise. Just imagine how terrible that condition could be. No electricity, no running water. It's literally just a shelter.
Just
Got
like
just
a box, four walls.
exactly. And the walls are not brick walls. It's like the house was built by mud. Like mud. They stick mud together and let it dry. So it was. But those are things that motivated me to be who I am. Those are the conditions that I grew up in, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do better. I want to dream bigger so I can, do better for myself and my kids to come. So, but anyway, I say all this to say that um, if the Americans who complain about the life they have had an opportunity to see what is worse, they would appreciate where they are. There's a saying, I like to use this a lot, that says, regardless of where you are, there's someone whose aspiration is to be where you are.
Hmm.
That's their dream, to be where you are,
Yeah.
regardless of the condition. So
Yeah.
I feel like in America, even the poor people in America are way, way, way better than the poor people from where I come from. There are days I didn't have even $1. for like a week. It's very rare for a person to go for a week without $1 if you work in America. And, I would say opportunity-wise, America has a lot of opportunities. If you're focused and you do the right things, you
Mm-hmm.
can never fail in America.
And it's also always about who you know, which is something that
Hmm.
you have said that where you come from, if you have a good relationship with the person that you're either trying to do business with or that you're just acquaintances with, if you have a good relationship with them, then it's easier to not necessarily get what you want, but it's easier to get the help and assistance that you need.
100%.
And the same is true here. If you know certain people or if you just have a good relationship with the people in your life, then they're going to be more willing to kind of extend that hand to you to help out in whatever it is, and they'll be able to do what they can because you know people and then they know people, and that is one thing that I like, that Americans, we will help, but
Yeah,
a lot of Americans are just very selfish.
yeah. Well, this is my self-belief, and I want for everyone, anyone watching us, I need you to implement this in your life. I promise you, it will change your life positively. I strongly believe if you're good to people, you do good things, you're nice, a nice human, a nice person, you do well with other people, the universe is going to bring that energy back to you. The universe will put the right people in front of you to take you to the next part of your life that God wants you to be. If you treat people nice, if you're a good person, I've seen it with my own life. My life changed ever since I decided to be like, okay, let me be a good guy. Let me go. Like, I. This is what I say always to her. I treat people the way I would want to be treated. Now, regardless of how they treat me, that's their own issue. But at least I'll do my part to be a better person and then wait for the universe to bring that energy to me because God will
Mm-hmm.
always give you what you put out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that because regardless whether you know somebody or you don't know nobody, just keep doing good. Keep being a good person. I promise you, someone out there is watching. Someone randomly will just approach you and be like, you know what? You did this good. Can I get your number? Okay. Is there anything I can help you with? So
Mm-hmm.
that is how we meet people. I'm blessed to have a lot of, helpful people in my life, my mentors. I cannot even mention all of them here. I'll interview them one on one, all of them whenever I get a chance. But
You
I
do have a lot.
yeah, I just wanted to say this just to motivate somebody out there to like to keep doing good, and God will bring the right people in your life to make sure that you elevate your life to the next stage. Now, as we wind up, we're gonna do part ones, part two, part three, part four of this conversation, so we can break and diverse into our cultures.
Mm-hmm.
But as we wind up, I wanted to ask you, what is your like? So now you know how like my culture is broad. There's a lot of culture in Uganda, right?
Yes.
And I've always said that here in the US, it doesn't seem like you all have a culture necessarily. What
No.
is your mindset about it? Like when
Like
you
the lack of culture here,
versus that I have a culture, I have things that
very
yeah,
rich.
I have things that I'm not gonna do because of my culture or my upbringing, and the fact that I'm like that, and vis-a-vis what is here in America and how kids are or how people treat each other. What now that you know that part of me and you know that existence of that culture I come
Mm-hmm.
from and what is here, what is your view on that?
When it comes to people just living their lives, Americans typically are very selfish
Hmm.
and they tend to do whatever they individually think is right,
Hmm.
not necessarily what they think is culturally right. America is very large, very
Yeah.
diverse in the types of people that are here. So there are just a lot of different beliefs, cultures. So I think that where you come from, you typically, the country the people in the country tend to have a very unified belief system, whereas in America it's very, very divided. And not to get into politics, but from the elections, you can see how divided our country really is. And of course, I'm not saying that countries, like, everybody has the same belief system, but there are things that have been in your culture and your where you come from for hundreds of years, whereas the US is only a couple hundred years old, and so we don't have long-standing traditions.
Keep watching, and if you're still watching, keep, thank you for watching. We want to make the world a better place by just sharing our experiences, sharing the different worlds that we come from. I'm from Africa, I'm from Uganda, she is from America. So the fact that, we are two different people from a different world, we have different experiences, different upbringing, and different lifestyle. That's why our channel is called the Untold Talk Show. So we share things that nobody thinks of, but they really matter. Maybe someone is
Yeah.
out there is trying to come to America. Someone is out there is in a relationship of interracial marriage or
Mhm.
relationship. This can, brighten your understanding. Be compassionate, be compromising, and be understanding. It makes it easier to understand each other. It makes it easier to um, get along.
Yeah.
You know.
And I would definitely say that as different as we are, we come from very different backgrounds, but we have the same core values that we can always go back to. We listen to different music, we eat different foods, we wear different styles of clothes, we enjoy different types of things, but it's those core values that really bring us back to each other, and the compassion and understanding that we know that we are very different, but we still choose to love each other because we see something in each other and feel the love between us that God has gifted us.
Amazing. Yeah, I would say she makes me feel peaceful, and she's so caring. So um for me,
Peaceful or sleepy?
well, I can't get sleepy if I'm not peaceful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So well, thank you guys for watching us. This was just a brief talk show, and we will stay tuned for part two, where we will dissect more about American lifestyle versus an African lifestyle, to be specific, Ugandan lifestyle. So we love you. Thank you for watching our channel. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
Get our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. So we're giving ourselves a whole year. We will try to upload at least 3 videos every week. Of course, we have
Oh.
a busy schedule.
Yeah.
We both work. So thank you for the love, and I hope this has motivated and educated someone from the world. Much love, much support. God bless you. Before I go off, I want to motivate someone. This is just strictly motivation. Dream big, think big, pray to God, and be ambitious. We love you. Peace.